You can hold a crystal in your hand if it's a small handpiece, and you can say, I need protection, or I need grounding, I need prosperity. It's the end of the month and I don't have enough to pay my bills. I need some income, incoming whatever. You can ask for certain things and you can charge that intention into your crystal and make it part of your layout. Once again, sound, you can sing. Like Fiona was talking earlier about singing to your runes to create a connection with them. You can sing to your stones. You can dance with your stones too. It's called jewelry. And energy. Anybody do Reiki or any kind of energy work?
I'd raise my hand.
Okay, good. I see that. So you can hold it and you can put the symbols in. And you can put the energy in through you and into the stone itself to put in for certain requests and certain work that you want to do together with your stones. Now, another thing that you want to do is attuning them. And you can attune the stones together. And the first thing you do is you put them in close proximity. And I'm not doing any kind of a pattern here. I'm just setting them next to each other. Now this is where they're attuning to each other, okay? You're not attuning individual stone by individual stone. This is my little pendulum here. Okay. You can set them close together. Oh, here's one hiding in the corner. Being shy. All right. That's not any kind of a layout or anything yet. And you just, once again, if you're doing Reiki, you can put your palm over it and say, I ask you to attune to each other, because you want the stones to work together as a group. It's called synergy. Whenever you have one item or one person, this works for prayer too. If it's just you, it's just your prayers, and you might be a very, very serious person and have a lot of personal power. 2 of you is worth 10. 3 of you is worth 100. You see? The numbers go like this. So, not only yourself, call in your guides too, to put the energy together, and you have the synergy. So we actually have 10. I've got an extra stone in there. But they will work together, and that is a very good thing. Another thing that you can do, and I didn't bring any with me, I like to use metal. This right here, which is my pendulum, this is just, I'm afraid it's aluminum. I would prefer it be copper or silver or gold. They all have 3 different kinds of, I just got the word, it's pyrite, the sun dollar looking thing. But copper or silver or gold, copper is conductive. Obviously, we use it in our electronics, and we have. Gold is also conductive, but it's of a different nature. Everybody that's got a fancy Wi-Fi connection and a stereo and all that, you will know the gold tips. And I believe platinum also works for that. My electronics husband is going outside. But that's used. And silver has some really interesting qualities to it. Silver is like solidified moonlight. And it happens to be antibacterial. During the Great Plagues of Europe, the wealthy people that drank out of silver cups and had silverware did not get sick as often as the people who were eating and using pewter and other wood. Seriously, it's got antibacterial nature to it. So it cleanses, and it has the energy of the moon in it, so it's a softer energy than gold. Gold is the energy of the sun. And this has been known by the ancients. Okay. Now, as for power, you're doing this for power. If you had a TV and you didn't have a plug to go into the wall, you wouldn't be sitting there watching it now, would you? And no batteries. Okay. Power is important. Where does the power come from? We have power in the stones themselves. They come that way, just like we all have our own individual power. But anybody that's Reiki again, any kind of energy work, the ultimate source of power is the source, capital S, whatever you may call this source. And you want to invite that power to come and mix and mingle down in here with these stones. They will have far more effectiveness to them if you connect them to source energy. And we will be doing that in our class I've always had this question in classes, does size matter? No, power matters. Has anybody ever had a Herkimer diamond? Okay, a Herkimer diamond, do you have one with you?
I almost wore it. I had it on.
Okay.
I switched to my theory.
They're generally small, and they're really not a diamond, they're quartz. But they're extremely clear, and they just have this power in them. Itty bitty ones. So you take that and you put it with anything else, and you've just amplified it. So it's like listening, if you're going to listen to a movie, are you going to listen to it on your monitor, or are you going to plug in the stereo receivers? You know, makes the difference. So power is important. Also, the natural shape on these is very blobby. This is not like a crystal. This is an amorphous, just a blob, okay? A crystal is a stone that has formed along an axis, and it has a specific shape. All quartz is six-sided, and various other stones have certain shapes. This one has been shaped by mankind. This one's called a Vogel because a man named Marcel Vogel invented this particular shape, which he was messing with it, the sacred geometry of it. That's a different class. But if you have regular quartz and you have terminations, it makes a difference if you have it on one end or both. One end, you want to, if you want to focus energy, you put all the points facing in. If you are trying to disperse energy and calm down, you want all the points facing out. If you have double terminations, it doesn't matter, it will go both ways. Also, we have clusters. A cluster is very different than a single point because they're just pointing all different directions. So there are times when you will want to actually use a cluster as part of what you are doing in your layouts, because the cluster will take and send the energies in different directions. Also, we have man-shaped spheres. A sphere, that is almost like a model of the universe in its entirety, and you could also say it's a model of what God is, because there's a point in the center, and then all the points on the outside are equidistant from that one center. It's the same however many dimensions you have, whereas a cube looks different in the fifth dimension, sixth dimension. My head doesn't go there because I haven't been there. I have no idea what that, there's no way for us to, actually produce one. I don't, maybe the guys over in Disney can make something. But it would, my head doesn't get that. And then finally, the ultimate thing is something that's specifically shaped like this Marcel Vogel piece. He was attempting to put the Jewish Kabbalah, this shape represents the Jewish Kabbalah. So all that the Kabbalah represents goes through this crystal, which is absolutely clear. There's no inclinations in there or anything. And the whole idea was he was trying to put love energy in, pure love energy, to focus it for healing purposes. That was what he was doing with that. So he's taken a natural thing, he's shaped it in a specific way, which has thousands of years behind it, and uses it for that purpose, and it's very effective. Okay, now I'm going to show you the layout for this. The Apache tears, I was shown this by a gentleman who is Native American. So what you're doing, and you would ideally do this around a chair or perhaps around the perimeter of a room. And that way is east, so you put one in the east, one in the south, one in the west, remove Mr. Vogel, and one in the north. Then you do the 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is what's called the Godstone in the middle. And you would sit over the Godstone. Now, we're going to use this to see what kind of energy we have here. I'm just going to see what the energy is in the room over here, with all of you watching and paying attention. So we have a counterclockwise, which is a descending spiral, and it's a nice lazy spiral. So we have good calm energies here. Let's see what the energy is like over the little layout here. complete calm. I was amazed by this. I'm going, it can't be, it can't be. This guy came to my house, and I used to do classes in my house. And so I got my set of these, and I have bought several sets from him. And I keep mine in this little tin. Inside this tin, I set them there, and because I am moving it all the time, I'm going, this is because it's for front, this is going to be east. Even if I'm going like this, you know, I'm on an airplane, this is still east because it's in front of me. So east, south, west, and north, and then the four corners, and then I put one in between. I take this little thing with me wherever I go on trips. If I have to start doing any work or something, and I need to calm down and have a quiet workspace, I either set this right next to my computer or I set it under the chair while I'm trying to connect in and concentrate. So you don't necessarily have to have it in a layout around you. You can make it.
They can be closer together.
And I put this in here with the intention that this is as big as this room, and it calms things down. So that is pretty much what I wanted to show you all today. The class that we're going to do with the crystals is how to use them for personal transformation. You see that I've used this, looks like a doily. I make these, they're called shaman stars. There are many different colors, sizes, number of points, and everything. Because when I work with the stones, I get in an altered state, stoned, and I don't know which way is east anymore or how many fingers I have. So when I have something to lay it out on, that helps. And so I have different numbers for different purposes. The number 5 is for getting work done. Just look at our hands, number 5. The number 6 is for making a spiritual connection. That's the Star of David. No, this one was an 8 with a point in the middle. 8 is for connecting with the higher intelligence. If anybody is a teacher, you really resonate with the number 8, because that's got to do with speaking and being orderly and doing things like that. This one happens to be a 12. That's a double Star of David. So you've got the spiritual connections at 2 levels. You're working with the high dimensions as well as here. So